Hey friends, welcome to this day in the life video. So my day starts at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, where I don't have to work too hard to negotiate myself off this very uncomfortable couch. The first thing I do is pick up my phone and get a dial into what's happened overnight. Because we've got a lot of our team who are based offshore, there are so many things that develop and change while I'm asleep. So I open up my Slack application and I'm greeted by a million notifications. As I lay there working through some of the more urgent messages, I get a good feel of how intense this day is going to be based on the number of fires that are currently raging. Once I'm on top of everything, I start my very minimal morning routine, which involves freshening up and just getting ready to head out for the day. Let's go. Before I get too deep into this video, it's probably worth giving you guys a quick rundown of what it is that I do. I'm a senior operations manager for a new startup in Australia called Cars24. Now, what does a senior operations manager do and what the hell is Cars24? For starters, Cars24 is looking to transform the way people buy and sell used cars. A good way to think about it is, it's just like Amazon, but for cars. You get the same simplicity and transparency as if you were buying a screen protector off Amazon, but now you're transacting with a $30,000 asset. Amazing, right? Before I tell you a little bit more about my role as a senior ops manager, I'm running low on fuel, so I'll get back to you guys in a second. We've got some fuel, my car's not gonna stop in the middle of the road. Where was I? Ah yes, an ops manager. So what does an ops manager do? Think of operations like the engine room for any business. For Cars24, I manage sourcing, reconditioning of cars, photography, everything to make sure that the product or service is ready for the market and for consumers to buy. I like to think that I'm a little important. And with all of that said, time for my first meeting of the day. Alright, so after a pleasant 1 hour long drive, we've arrived at our first location where I'm going to be doing some testing of our photography app. I've been given a photography assignment that will keep me busy for the next few weeks, so my tasks for the day will have a lot to do with photography. I'll try and show you as much as I possibly can, but yeah, let's go. Alright, so we're done testing the app. Super successful session. The lab that I was just inside was absolutely out of this world, but I don't want to be the one sharing trade secrets, so I didn't film in there, but it was definitely a solid start to the day. Okay, so I've got about an hour before my next meeting and I've got to drive about 30 minutes to get there. So what I'll do is I'll take about 15-20 minutes, just sit in my car, answer some emails, make some calls, and really get some work done. It's so different to being in a corporate office where you've got a dedicated desk. I never thought I'd get used to sitting in my car and answering emails and actually doing work. But yeah, you get what you're given and you deal with it. It's been a while since I last checked in with you guys. It's just gone past 2 o'clock. The day's been absolutely manic. We completed a site visit for a potential future location, which was really exciting. And then there were a few of our partners who I had to call and make happy. I mean, things just changed. Like everything was rosy 24 hours ago, and they'll call you and say absolutely everything is blown up over the course of 24 hours. So yeah, let's fix it. The reason I picked up the camera now is to show you guys the not so glamorous side to working in a startup. And I think a lot of people would come to expect the fact that because we are light on numbers, because we are just trying to get this thing off the ground and we don't have the money to just funnel into 100 different resources, you have to do the odd, interesting job here and there. And one of those jobs for me is literally shuttling cars from one shed to the other and from one location to another location. For me, being a car person, anytime I get a chance to jump into a different car, doesn't really bother me, but this is probably car number 357 I've had to shuttle, and I'm just about sick of it. Let's go. Another one. Tell you what, my parking skills are just about impeccable after all these cars I've had to move. Definitely has its cons, but it's got its perks too. Alrighty, done and dusted for the day. Well, not exactly, I'm just done at this particular site. Time to make the 1 hour journey back home and then do some more work. I believe this is what they call living the dream. Look at that sweat. Gosh, don't work too hard, Yusuf. Hey guys, so it's just before midnight and I got home at about 6:30 and I've spent the last 5 odd hours working, just slugging away. No, I'm kidding. What I do when I get home is I like to dedicate some time to the family, so I spend about 3-4 hours with them and just relax and unwind for a little bit. Then I get back into work, and it works quite conveniently because our Indian colleagues are 5.5 hours behind, so they're just wrapping up and I can meet them at a point where, you know, they've got critical things that they need to talk through and discuss, so I know I'm not leaving too many loose ends for me to have to deal with tomorrow. This is the time where I work on my reporting. We're using some really average systems because we are just starting up, so I've got to do some manual entry, make sure all of our data is clean. I get a chance to go through my emails. I usually have about 30-40 unread messages that I need to respond to, and then I actually get to sit down and actually let everything that happened today digest and think through what worked, what didn't work, and just game plan and strategize for the next day. So I spend about an hour to an hour and a half most evenings just to make sure I'm on top of everything and I'm at a stage where I'm comfortable with the level of progress that we've made for the day. That's about it for a day in the life of me working for $1 billion startup. But before I wrap up the video, I don't think I've given you quite enough value. So I'll leave you with two things: what I really love about working for this startup and what I don't like so much. The one thing about working for a startup that is miles ahead of any other work environment that I've experienced so far is the fact that you get to turn the needle, the dial so much every single day. You try something, it doesn't work, you try something else almost instantly, and that process of repetition and trying new hypotheses and trying new things yields results so much faster, and it's so rewarding being able to work on a new process, implement something new, and actually see the results within the day or within 48 hours. I'm used to seeing results within 3 months, 6 months, working on a strategy, doing a really drawn out implementation for a client, and you don't really see tangible material changes for long periods of time, and this makes it quite challenging to stay motivated because it feels like you're not really making an impact with the work that you're doing. On the flip side, the one thing that I'm struggling to adapt with is the fact that we don't spend enough time testing one hypothesis, doing the complete due diligence required to say, actually, I'm going to can the solution because it's not quite working out for us. You see, startup environments are so dynamic. You don't have enough time to really dig through and get under the covers of everything you need to get under. It's short, sharp, efficient decision making. You have to be agile because if you spend excessive amounts of time deciding whether a hypothesis is a go or a no-go, someone else will likely get to where you need to get to before you, and then you're forever playing catch up. That won't fly. So yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world, but for me, coming from a consulting background where things work almost the complete opposite, it is a bit challenging. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap up the video here. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed coming along on this day in the life with me. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, engage, help the algorithm, and if you'd like to see similar content or any content related to helping you guys live your best lives, then be sure to hit that red subscribe button down below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.